LoveLine is meant for an adult audience. LoveLine may contain sexually oriented content. Listener discretion advised. Now, here's LoveLine. 1-800-LOVE-191. With Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
Are you insane?
Hospital, and when I go there, we play different kinds of games and stuff. But when I go in this one room, this lady, she kind of she'll tell me that she loves me, and that if I was younger, she'd want to be my husband and stuff.
She's somebody that works there?
No, she's one of the residents.
Like an old woman?
Yeah. Yeah, 90. She's ill because she's in the house, homeless hospital.
She's 90.
I don't know, yeah, around there.
Do you take this seriously?
No, I don't. It just kind of makes me feel uncomfortable because they'll send me in there and stuff, and I tell them, we'll make our rounds and stuff.
Yeah.
To them.
What do you actually do there?
Well, it's activities coordinator.
You're not doing the patient...
I help them out. Yeah, we play shuffleboard and stuff.
But you're not doing the patient care and that business?
Yeah.
You're just doing the activities?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, we'll go around and stuff and talk to them.
Well, I'll tell you what. Older people, particularly the very elderly, are sort of de-repressed. They may say things that they might not otherwise... that in a social setting you might not otherwise think is appropriate, particularly sexually inappropriate. The males sometimes do all kinds of weird stuff. And,
some weird ones.
Yeah, and it's just part of being very old and having a dementia and not having the brain function quite right. I would tell you, for your own safety's sake, you should be in there with another woman. To put a young...
I've showed her, I said, why don't you come in here, and then when she comes in, the lady doesn't do it. So it's kind of weird.
Well, she probably really is attracted to you, and certainly she's lonely, and she's 90, she's living in a nursing home, and you probably do look pretty appetizing to her, for crying out loud. But she's 90 and she doesn't know better, and come on, be nice to her.
Yeah, no.
And for your own safety and to protect yourself from liability, make sure there's another female in the room with you if you're doing anything in that room where she is alone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Good luck. Bye bye. This now is Renee. Renee, what's up? Renee is 17.
Hi.
Yeah.
My boyfriend, he has a foot fetish.
Yeah.
And, at first, when we first started out, it was cute to me.
Yeah.
Because he liked to see me in, high-heeled and open-toe shoes.
How old is he?
34.
34?
Well, yeah, he is.
He's twice your age.
I know. That's
What's that all about?
Well, we met a while before, and we were friends a long time before I met him when I was breeding my dog.
How old were you then?
I was 16.
Think about that.
Yeah. And we were just friends. We'd talk on the phone, and he'd help me with other problems. And
you're actually sexually active with this guy now?
No. Well, now I am.
Now you are.
This was, a while back we weren't.
How long have you been with him?
A year.
And what's the situation with you and your dad? What
me
happened
and
to
my
him?
father?
Yeah.
Me and my father are cool.
Yeah? What used to happen?
Talk.
What was he like 15 years ago?
Who, my dad?
Yeah.
I would go and visit him, every weekend.
So why did he leave?
Why did he leave? My mom and my father got divorced when I was 2.
Why? Interesting that I said 15 years ago. Why?
Why? Did they get divorced?
Yep.
Because he was abusive.
Okay. All right.
That's what she told me.
But you understand, so what people don't realize is that being around an abusive parent...
I wasn't around, though. I didn't really.
How could you not have been around? Was somebody else raising you?
I can't remember.
Yes, but there's no more impactful time than during that period of development. Your brain is just to harken back to homage to Adam here, wet cement. Although the memory function isn't there, the things that you see have lifelong impact on your choices and behavior. And certainly if he had stayed around till you were 4, 6, 8 years old, you'd also have memory of it, and probably the effects would be even more profound. But if you witness an abusive, violent parent, or you're subjective to that, even if you don't remember it, it will have long-lasting effects on you. And by the way, this is the same guy that you consider your father, the guy that's capable of this kind of thing. So in order to regain some sort of intimacy with that figure, you're going to pick that kind of guy again. And lo and behold, look what you found. A 34-year-old. My.
I know.
Fascinating, huh?
But, like I was saying, he has a foot fetish. I know, I'm sorry. He has a foot fetish, and I enjoyed it, the attention.
All right, here's the deal with the fetishes. First of all, understand that something more will be revealed about this guy. He is not right. 34-year-old with a 17-year-old, 16-year-old is not right.
This guy is an asshole.
This guy's an asshole, but it will turn up in time. You will have to learn this, God willing, in one lesson, but you will learn this. The fetish, let's just address the fetish, because Renee, you're not hearing anything else I'm saying, and that's okay. The fetish is just a way that he manages very unpleasant feelings that he has about women. And although they may not be violent, they are fears of all sorts of things. The classic theory is that men fear that they're going to be castrated by women. That's sort of the idea about where these things come from.
What do you mean by castrated?
That he's going to have his genitals taken away from him. It's a primitive, very subconscious kind of a thing, and he learned to deal with his feelings and fears about this by focusing on some object, namely the feet. That's a real common fetish, but the problem is that it takes over, and people lose the capacity to function sexually without it. And, as a way of distancing somebody, it's people that are afraid of intimacy that focus on fetishes. In our culture, we somehow have come up with the idea that these fetishes and all these bizarre sexual activities that people get into are a way of expanding one's sexual expression, when in fact they are ways of narrowing it and keeping it focused on something and avoiding intimacy, and it's not a good way to conduct oneself in a relationship. I'm not judging it, just what works best for people. They feel more fulfilled, they have more stable relationships, they are better off when these things aren't involved in their relations. Dave is 20. Dave, what's going on? Dave?
Hello?
What's up?
Oh, it's Rob.
Rob, okay.
Yeah.
What's up?
Right around the time when my father died when I was around 16 years old.
Yeah.
I was in kind of a long-term relationship at the time, for 16 as it goes. And I noticed that after my father died, a few changes happened in my life, which later, I guess, my psychiatrist kind of diagnosed as like a form of depression.
Yeah.
And what also happened is, I guess, I was also told that I tried to get back too quickly into a sexual type of relationship.
What's the question, Dave? Rob, excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
Rob, what is the question?
What's going on is...
I got the picture.
Huh?
I got the picture.
Okay.
Now, what's the deal?
All right. Well, along with the depression, it kind of caused me to... I'm not able to have like an erection suitable for sex when I'm with my girlfriend in a sexual situation. But basically, like if I see something I like or whatever, I'm fine.
Right.
Everything else comes along with.
Okay. I mean, that is part of depression, Rob. Sherry, change his name on the screen. I'm going to call him Dave if you don't change the name. Change it to Rob before I call him Dave 300 more times. Rob, when you were diagnosed with depression, did they put you on medication? Rob?
Most of it was worked out. I mean, I had like the classic stuff, like I didn't have much drive to do anything.
I understand. No, I understand. But I need this question answered first. Did they put you on medication?
No medication.
Not medication. But you've persisted in having this problem with erectile function.
Yeah.
Are you still depressed?
No. I'm pretty much past that, but the other part isn't coming around with me.
How long has that gone on for?
Well, I'm 19 now. I'm almost 20, so it's been about 3 years.
And have you ever been able to function normally with someone?
Oh yeah, before my father died, and every once in a while, it works. But
since then,
just for I'd say about 90% of the time.
Are you on any other medications?
No, I'm not.
Do you have any medical problems?
No.
Well, the typical reason that men have trouble in your age group, other than biology, some physiologic problem, is anxiety. Something is making you nervous, and there's something called anticipatory anxiety. Just the concern that something is going to happen is enough to make it happen again. And I think, Dave, that's sort of the rut you're in. I mean, you need a few successes out there, and one of the ways that people suggest one gets over this is to take the focus off of the intercourse. You said yourself that you do okay when you're just aroused by something in the environment and there's no pressure to have sex and there's none of the concern of intimacy. I mean, I'm sure you still have a fear of loss going on here, and anytime you feel vulnerable, I'm sure there's a fantasy that someone's going to be taken away. And some of that is leftover grieving that needs to be done. But the important thing now is to have some successes and to be with your girlfriend, and just to think about the intimacy and the feelings of closeness and not worry about the erection, not worry about the intercourse. And if indeed it is anticipatory and you're able to calm down in that interaction, it will kind of take care of itself, all right? Let's go on to Dwayne, who's 20. Dwayne.
Hey, how's it going, Drew?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you, Dwayne?
Hey, I'm all right.
How's it sounding so far tonight without Adam?
Actually, I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, it's a relief.
Yeah, I got so much respect for you and stuff. And, I mean, Adam's cool and all, but I think that...
Well, God bless you.
Yeah, so I got a question for you here. I got a small penis, and when I play sports and in the winter, it does like the turtle effect where it goes...
Yeah.
And it's very painful.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Do you do anything to push it back out?
What I have to do is right at the top.
You push down, and that pops it out.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how you deal with that, frankly. I've heard people complain about it. It's not a medical issue and that it's going to have any kind of implication for you.
Okay.
But I don't know how you avoid it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if urologists have any sort of ideas with this.
Actually, I went to a doctor.
Yeah.
And it's in the penile enlargement, society. And what he told me is he said that he could take a fat transfer or something.
Yeah, I'm sure they can do that.
Yeah, out of my thigh.
I'm sure they can do that.
Give me up to two inches, but I mean that's going to cost me over $2,000, and I don't know.
Yeah. What was the society you talked about?
It's a doctor out here. It's in the Penile Enlargement Society. There's like 6 doctors.
Society. Wow, quite an interesting organization with 6 physicians in it. Oh boy.
Huh?
No, I'm just talking to myself.
Oh yeah, it's in Chicago, so.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not judging the people that do these procedures. I know they have some validity, and I just don't. It's a real surgery, and in your case, you have got some bona fide symptoms that it might be worthwhile looking into it. But from a medical perspective, I don't like people doing stuff to themselves without there being a medical reason for it. You know what I mean? You're only asking for problems when you do that.
Okay.
Rather than trying to take care of problems.
All right.
So it's just one of the things you got to learn to live with, I'm afraid, Dwayne. I appreciate the call. This is Alex, 16. Alex, what's going on?
Hi, how you doing, Drew?
Hey, good.
All right. You might remember me from last week. I called about my best friend, sleeping with my mom. Do you remember that last Sunday?
I do remember that. You had, let me recap this if I remember correctly. Your mom's a little wacky.
Yeah.
And she's like 30 or 28 or something?
29.
29. And she has been with lots of guys, and you've been sort of aware of it because she's sort of not tried to hide it particularly.
Yeah.
But recently you were watching TV, and out walks one of your friends.
Yeah.
And you knew that she was in there having sex with the guy.
Yeah.
What happened?
All right. Since then, he's been kind of suspicious around me because I don't know if he, knows about it or not. I haven't really told him, but I was wondering if it'd be healthy to continue being friends with him because this was my best friend, since about 4th grade.
I don't see how you can maintain a best friendship with those heavy feelings flying around. So I think it's fine to be friends with him, although it's kind of suspicious. In other words, I don't know how much you can trust a guy like that with your feelings and with your well-being. Now, albeit he's a young guy and he's got his hormones going and your mom's been a little wacky, but he's still got to be accountable for his behaviors. And you would hope he would have concern for how it would impact on you.
Yeah.
That's one concern.
Well, maybe he didn't know that I was,
I know, but he did it, right?
Yeah.
We must be accountable for our actions. If he cannot think ahead far enough to consider what it would do to you and not have that as a grave concern of his, I don't like the guy. And number 2, that's just me. And number 2, I don't see how you can maintain a best friendship without being honest.
Yeah.
And I guess the only crack you have at it is not confronting him, but opening up about all this and seeing where it goes.
So I should say something about it,
if your feelings are not so heavy that you couldn't trust this guy again, and that you could feel as though you could maintain a best friendship, and you want to, then it's the only chance you have
they're not that heavy about it. I was just wondering if it'd be healthy, me knowing about it. I was wondering if it'd be healthy to continue. I've known this guy for like about 4 years.
Well, what are you saying? What are you saying? What do you think?
I was wondering if it'd be,
Well, what are you saying? What are you saying?
In the future to be,
I told you I don't like the guy.
Okay.
I'm concerned about the guy. And you were on some medication or something too, right?
Yeah, Prozac. Yeah,
it is. You need as much stability and as much trust and as much connection with people as possible.
Yeah.
This isn't the kind of guy I would choose for you. But he has been your friend for a long time, and you can't take away those important bonds that develop as you grow up.
Yeah, we've been through a lot together,
I know. Well, maybe the reason you've been going through a lot is because he's kind of a kooky guy himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what you need is not more chaos in your life. You need more stability in your life.
Yeah,
so, to me, this would... I have no doubt about that, by the way, Alex.
Oh.
This, to me, would be a chance to maybe distance yourself a little bit, make better choices with your friend. We've always talked about in this show the fact that the reason somebody's your best friend is not because he's somebody you would choose as your best friend. It's because you live next door.
Yeah.
And when you're growing up in proximity, those are the people that you have these growing up experiences with, and you're bonded with them just by virtue of proximity.
Yeah.
But in terms of it being a choice of somebody you should have in your life, no. You make that choice for yourself, Alex. But understand, if you are going to have a best friendship, it's got to be based on some degree of honesty, and this is not something you can walk around knowing without being able to talk to him about. keep in touch with us. I'd love to know more what happens with this, Alex. This is The Cass, who's 21.
Yeah, how's it going?
All right, what's up? Have I had all males calling so far tonight?
I guess
I think so.
bro. I guess so.
The Cass, you smoke a little pot, dude.
Oh, no, well.
Oh, yeah.
Every once in a while. It's allowed to every once in a while. I'm an athlete, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got
maybe it's just tonight I'm hearing it. But go ahead, what's going on?
No, I liked your answer for the blue balls the other day for the gentleman that called for it.
What did I say?
I guess it was, let's see, how did you put it? That when the body thinks that it's going to get something, and then all of a sudden it's cut off, you know, and then it you know, really hurts, you know, and that really does happen. And you said, I don't know about the blue, but I do know about the balls, so that is right.
I think that was Adam that said that, but it's sort of true, all right.
Yeah, well, there was a question, I don't know which one of you that had said that they knew more about a woman than a woman knew about a woman.
Well, I mean, I know as much about a woman as any physician knows about a woman, so there you go.
And you see that there's a bunch of different spots that a lot of men do not know about.
Oh, really? You going to enlighten us tonight?
And see, well, the main thing about it is that, see, when I'm at all with a woman, I'm going to make sure that things are done properly. Like,
really?
Before sex, she's got to at least have at least 2 orgasms.
Oh, before sex?
Exactly.
Okay.
During the foreplay.
Okay.
Because
is that before or after the trip to the ballet?
Regardless if the woman's any good or not, you're still going to get, you know, what you're going to go for.
I see.
And you got to go for in sex at least 4 orgasms, depending on how long it's going to last. You got to, you got to know the spots. And there's like, then of course about the G, and then of course about their clit. But then there's an A abdomen that's back in the back there. And
a what?
An A abdomen. I don't know if you're familiar with the name. I can get the book out for you. And
what are you calling it again?
The A abdomen. It's like a V spot that's in the back that clits. It goes down. You can go left to right or dead center, and if you hit it enough, they will bleed. It's like that's why a lot of women, when they ride, they like to go back and forth. Well, fine then. If you hit that little spot, it's good to go, because then you get a good feeling too.
So, Cass, where did you learn so much about all this?
Do what?
Where did you learn so much about women?
It's not that I've been with a lot of women, because I haven't. It's just that I study on, trying to make them feel good, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys are just out for themselves.
So tell us again, how does it work? Wait, tell me again. How does it work, Cass, who's smoked a little bit of pot tonight? Tell me again.
Oh, I haven't tonight.
But tell me how it works.
How it works? Well, it works in the best way, makes every woman satisfied as far as it goes, to an automatic shake to almost a complete cry. And then it is to a cry. And that's what's so amazing about it, because, I'm out for this and not
yes, I love our callers. The culture, the intellect, the intrigue. Compelling. I've been doing this for 15 years. It's amazing. Okay. Dave, 25, what's going on?
Hi, about 2 years ago, I got my girlfriend pregnant, and we weren't like really in love, but when we found out she was pregnant, we tried to move in together, and we tried to have a normal relationship, and when the baby was born, she wanted me out of the picture, just totally out. And I came from a really perfect family, no divorces, no abuse, nothing like that, and she came from a ton of abuse and all that stuff. And then about 6 months ago, she got an attorney, and she wanted to sue me for full custody, and I got an attorney, and I ended up getting 50% custody of the child.
How old is the child?
She's 13 months now.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And now it's she hates me, and she doesn't want anything to do with me. And
your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, I know this isn't good for my little girl, and
oh man.
And I want to know what I can do to make this as best for my little girl as possible, and yet try to mend my relationship with her.
All right, okay, Dave. I have to go to break right now. Okay, so I've heard the story. I want you to hang on 1 second. We will get to Dave and his tough situation after this.
LoveLine, Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. Phone number's 1-800-LOVE-191.
We'll be right back.
WEBN.
man turns animal for the erotic pleasures of women.
It's LoveLine.
All right. WEBN.
Hey, this is Pat Boone. You and I are listening to LoveLine with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
And welcome back to LoveLine. The phone number is 1-800-LOV-191. Fax number. We haven't checked the fax machine yet, have we? I'll be happy to read faxes at 310-854-4455. Appropriate faxes, please. And it is just me, Dr. Drew. Adam is not here tonight. He's off in New York doing Letterman, of all things. Yes, as his star rises, we are all freed from the albatross.
I go right for the penis. I never let it go.
Well, that's where he's at right now, I'm sure. Again, I want to thank M. Lynn. This is her email address anyway, I think, who sent an amazing rendition of me in a Ken doll form. She spent a lot of time sending really nice stuff to me and the staff here, and we appreciate it. Thank you. And really do appreciate that kind of stuff. So this is now Dave, 25. Dave, you were saying you had a ex-girlfriend you had a child with. The child is 13 months old. Custody battle over the child. You now have 50% custody, but you have awful relationships with the mom.
Yes, yeah. And I don't want this to backlash on my little kid. I want to raise her as best as I possibly can, and I don't know what to do.
Wow. I mean, it's just such a horrible situation.
Yeah, and I really wanted to get counseling with this woman.
I mean,
and
first of all,
make things better.
Yeah, God bless you for focusing on the well-being of the child.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why other people can't sublimate their BS on behalf of children. I would hope you would keep slugging it out. This is the kind of situation. Now, I'm no expert in domestic disputes and whatnot, but I would think this sort of situation would be best served with a lot of structure. That is to say that you insist upon the visitation that you're obligated. She's obligated to give you. That you take it and you use it and you keep it very, very structured and have as little direct interaction with her for the time being as possible. And as time goes along, maybe you can enlist her in some sort of ongoing counseling. I mean, you're not going to be in a real relationship with her anymore. You just want to be civil with her, right?
Yeah. I don't want to, I don't want my daughter to see this.
I think with time, a lot of that will settle down. My concern, moreover, is that this is the kind of woman who creates this kind of chaos in her life.
That's what she's always had in her life.
I understand.
What her father did to her. And
no, I understand. We know the type. It's a typical sort of LoveLine story. How you got wrapped up in all this, well, you have to examine that very carefully because you sort of took a detour for some reason. That I would suspect that somebody like you had very controlling parents, and this was sort of your experimenting to try to establish a sense of your own self. No? No?
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Well, no, my parents aren't controlling me. They're like the best parents you can possibly ever have.
I'm sure they're great, but they are, I'm sure, been very much in control of your life, pretty much all your life.
Actually, no. I mean, they're like they want us to get back together and to try to work this out. And
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about their involvement with you as a person and your capacity to establish a sense of yourself with your peers. I'm just guessing.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe a little bit, but
All right, and then so this was sort of either it's just a plain old bad choice that went wrong, or you're really trying to sort of act out some. It's kind of the way adolescents do. They act out with their peers in order to establish some independence. But here you've now taken the consequences for it, and you're living up to them. And God bless you. I mean, that's what counts here. Dave, you're just going to have to be very structured with this, be very committed to it. It's a long-term proposition. I'm much more concerned, again, let me reiterate this, about what she is going to do to your child's life in other spheres than in her relationship with you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That the relationship with you is chaotic enough. That, I suspect, will settle down with time, but you're going to have to keep a real close eye on the environment that child grows up in because, boy, it could be a mess. Kristen, 18.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to thank you because first time I ever had sex with my boyfriend, the condom broke. And because I have been listening to LoveLine for a while, and I heard about the morning after pill, so I went to my doctor, and she gave it to me, had to go to the prescription and everything like that. And then, stupid me, it happened again a while later.
There are no accidents.
Well, no, I was stupid. I mean,
well, don't be tough on yourself. What'd you do?
Well, I went up to Washington this time and got it over there. And, I mean, people have said it's easy, and it is pretty easy to get up there, but it's almost easier to go through your doctor.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Because I just went to my doctor, and, my parents, they don't know anything.
It's confidential. I mean, you're 18. You are eligible for totally confidential health care. What?
I was even 17 at the time.
Hey, look, after 14, theoretically, in most states. So, look, that's great that you have that kind of relationship with your doctor. That's important. And so you get pap smears regularly?
Oh, well, now I just actually started birth control today.
Yeah?
Because I went to Planned Parenthood and got an exam and everything. And it was a free program, so I'm doing it for a whole year for free.
Great.
And I never would have heard about it. I would just been in a big pickle if I wasn't listening. So I just wanted to thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.
And I'm sure lots of other girls have success.
I hope so. I swear to God, I want to find a way to distribute this thing. I mean, I really want to take a stand about this. I feel very strongly about it. As you know, if any of you are listening to this show any length of time, you understand what happens when people have kids when they're unwanted and what those kids then go out and do and what they do to kids that do other things, and how much the source of so much of what's going on in this world is the product of people having children that shouldn't have children or don't want to have children. And I am fundamentally anti-abortion, interestingly, but I am absolutely categorically in favor of this morning after pill. I mean, I think it should be just available at your doorstep every time you want it. Not that I'm saying that teenagers should actually have sex every time they feel they want to, as also I hope you learn from watching this show the consequences of doing that. But should it happen, gosh darn it, you better have the protection. So, Joy, what's up? 14.
I have this. I'm 14 and I have a friend. She lives a couple blocks away from me, and she has all the symptoms of HIV and AIDS, and I really don't know how to break it to her.
Wait a minute. She's how old?
She's 15, 16, something like that.
Is she in a risk category?
Yes.
What's the risk?
She's got HIV, and it's really bad.
Wait a minute. She is known to have HIV?
Yeah.
How did she contract it?
Well, see, she doesn't know. I was reading a book, and it shows all the symptoms on it. It talks.
Well, there's no symptoms of HIV. Okay.
Okay. Well, AIDS.
And understand that the symptoms of HIV are all when the AIDS begins developing. It's also symptomatic of about 8,000 other illnesses.
Okay.
Okay. So if she's not known to have HIV, don't be diagnosing her.
Well, but she has all the symptoms of AIDS, and because I was reading this book, and it has all the symptoms that she has.
I'm telling you, all the symptoms of what you're calling AIDS can be caused by 4,000 other conditions. You're probably talking about cough and weight loss and weakness and anemia and sleeplessness and diarrhea. Does she have all those things?
Yes.
Okay, there's about a million other things that can cause that. Okay, so if she doesn't have HIV, you don't have to think about AIDS. Now, certainly she should have an HIV done if there's any concern at all about her. But you're 14, don't be diagnosing your friend. Recognize there is something wrong with her and get her to a doctor. That's what needs to be done. Don't freak her out by talking about AIDS. Just talk to her about how concerned you are, what you've seen, and let's get her some help. I mean, the probability is much higher that she has an eating disorder or she's depressed or for crying out loud. I mean, there's just so many other things that can cause that. Let's stay focused on just getting her to appropriate health care. Renee is 20. What's going on?
Hi. Oh, first of all, I want to say I'm really sad Adam's not on tonight because I've been in love with him for the past 2 years.
You're sad? I'm euphoric. I'm ecstatic. Are you kidding? Come on.
No, I'm sure you are. But
how big is your butt?
Oh, there he is. It means you don't like what I'm doing.
No, I do.
Renee?
I want to say this about you. 2 years ago, I thought that you had the personality of a dish rag, but Adam has really loosened you up, I think.
Oh, that is true. That is true. I had a different.
You laugh a lot, and you're
right.
Jokes
well,
and
listen,
stuff.
My role changes based on the person I'm in here with. You know what I mean? And part of that is a compliment to him because he gives me enough room to do what I need to do, so I feel like we're being responsible, so I can loosen up more.
Yeah.
I'm not freaked out all the time about the potential deleterious effects of what we're saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's not here. What are you calling about?
Okay, I have been best friends with this guy since we were in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and he has only been with other guys sexually, and he wants me to have sex with him, so he knows what it's like to be with a woman because he doesn't want to be gay. I mean, he likes girls and stuff. But
well, first of all, that's a line that Engineer Mike's been trying for years. Has it worked yet? He can't even answer. All right. Look, how old is he?
He's my age, 20. Well,
I would dare say that
21.
I would dare say that most teenage and young male gays would rather not be gay. I mean, it is a very painful reality. Most people grow up with the idea of the so-called American dream, for lack of a better way of describing it. And to have to reckon with losing that and disappointing everybody who has that same idea for you, and being something entirely different than you thought you were or than you thought you were going to be, and fulfilling that in a mature way is a very painful process in this society. Can you imagine what that would be like?
Well, especially because both of our families are very conservative Christians.
Oh boy.
And
I mean, look, of course, if you were gay, would you want to try not to be gay any way you could?
Absolutely.
Okay, but he's gay. He's gay, Renee. And,
well,
and it's not helping him reconcile that and mature it with that and deal with that. You want to help him, let's get him in touch with a gay and lesbian youth center, somebody, and talk to people who've been through similar kinds of experiences so he can connect with people and gain I'm going to say a sober network, but a supportive network of peers who can help him through the difficulty of all this. I mean,
well, he really doesn't think that he's gay. He thinks that it's just his only sexual experience is with a male, and so that's just what he associates with being aroused.
The what?
He just thinks
if he's not gay, why is he being with men?
Well, he only was with one guy, and this was when we were in high school. And I was actually going out with him at the time. We were a couple, and then I found out 2 years later that he was having sex with this guy.
All right. Well, at minimum, he's ambivalent. He's confused about his sexuality.
Yeah.
Was he sexually abused when he was younger?
He says that he was never sexually abused, but he grew up in a very cold, unemotional family. Yeah. Like, he only hugged his brother, like, just last month. Wow. And, I mean, his brother's, like, they just never touched each other in their family.
And by the way, for those naysayers who get disturbed whenever we ask that question about sexual abuse, I'm talking to somebody here who is potentially sexually ambivalent and confused, and that is a common consequence of sexual abuse. So, I don't know, Renee, this is your choice. I mean, he's somebody you've been connected with. It sounds like it's going to be a painful process for you to sleep with somebody that you've been connected with. You're going to get more connected with. You understand that women have a biology that really bonds them intimately with men that they sleep with. Do you understand that?
Yeah. We tried a little bit of, like, trying different things this weekend, and I'm already kind of feeling more attached to him than I want. And you have
intercourse as a hormone called oxytocin release, the bonding hormone that really brings you in, and it's very difficult to let go and lose somebody that you've been that intimate with. And at the very least, you're going to be in for a chaotic ride. I'm sure you're in a fantasy, you want to convert him to something. Look, when he's more clear about what he is and what he wants, by all means. But in the meantime, help him clarify what's going on with him. Don't get too intimately involved with him just yet. All right, let me see here. One last question before we go to break. This is Nibby.
Hi.
Hi.
Next week is my boyfriend's birthday, and I'm not sexually active with him yet because I believe, when you're married, you should do that.
You're 18?
Yeah, I'm 18.
All right.
And so he asked me for a blowjob, which last time I gave a blowjob, I gagged because the cum. I can't swallow it. I have a problem, and I don't know what to do.
Must you run those sound effects? I'm sorry. Why do you feel you... All right. I'm just blown away by these questions sometimes. I see this is when Adam usually takes off and I pull away from the mic here. But Nibby, I want you to hang on 1 second. We will talk about this issue after we get back from the break.
I feel so liquidy. Really? Why? You're listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. LoveLine will be right back. WEBN.
Radio that keeps you up at night. It's LoveLine, only on WEBN.
Hi, this is David Allen Greer, and you are listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla and the one and only Dr. Drew.
David is my man. This is Dr. Drew indeed, and his LoveLine, the phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. I am flying solo tonight. Adam is in New York. He's going to be on Letterman. Big star. But we're delighted to be with Adam. At least I'm delighted to be. And you happy to be with Adam? It's for having fun. I am going to try to get through as many calls as I possibly can. I'm excited to talk to you guys, and I think since I'm by myself, we can really get through a few calls here tonight.
Same boner, different jizz.
Thank you, Adam. God, it's like the goat. It's like he haunts me. All right. But one thing I am doing tonight is taking faxes. It's 1-800-310-854-4455. First one from Sarah in Michigan. She has a question, a really kind of medical question about an inflammatory arthropathy she has. She's on Ansett and Plaquenil and prednisone and asking about prednisone and the weight gain and the mood disturbances she's having from it. You know, there's no doubt that medication is awful, particularly for a young person to take. Unfortunately, there really is no substitute when it has to be taken for these inflammatory conditions like lupus or rheumatoid arthritis. There's a new medication coming out that's going to maybe replace the non-steroidals, the Motrin-like drugs called a COX-2 inhibitor. I'm not sure what the name of that drug is going to be yet. That should be out maybe even tomorrow, frankly. Maybe any day now that's coming out. And that may help you with these inflammatory conditions. But when people need to be on prednisone, they need to be on it. A doctor would not put someone on prednisone casually, but it is absolutely the first medication you want to get rid of if you possibly can. Also, Eric, who's got an alcoholic dad, and he is sort of the savior in his family. This is another fax I'm reading. And he asks, his mom's put him up to trying to get his dad into recovery. And Eric, watch that role in your family. I'm sure your function is to be the sort of rescuer for everybody. The best thing you can do to getting your dad in recovery, believe it or not, is for you to go to Al-Anon or Alateen. It says you're 16, so Alateen will probably be more effective. People that are involved with alcoholics and addicts, the codependents, change when they go into codependency recovery, and they change in such a way that often sets the addicts or the identified patient into kind of a panic. And they become frightened that they're going to lose these people, and it catches their attention, and they sometimes thereby are forced to do something themselves to change, and that's how you get them into Alcoholics Anonymous and recovery. You also keep confronting the hell out of them and creating consequences for their behaviors. My basic adage is support the recovery, but don't have anything to do with the disease if you can possibly live that way. The night we were talking to Nibby, who's got a weird question about, Nibby's 18, and weird questions about...
Blowjobs.
All right.
Well, it's my boyfriend's birthday next week, and he asked for a blowjob since I'm not really sexually active with him.
But it's something you've done before. I have a question for you. Is the editor of the Journal of the American Medical Association was fired over publishing an article about whether or not oral sex was having sex? Are you guys aware of this?
No.
Is oral sex having sex?
I think it's a form of sex, yeah.
Okay. It used to be considered more intimate than sex. I don't know, things have changed fast around here, but all right. And you've done it before to someone else.
Yeah.
But you gagged.
Yeah.
You gagged at the defining moment?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you stop before that all happens?
That was my first time. I've only done it one other time.
Yeah, but you don't have to feel obliged to. I mean, just do what's comfortable for you. You know, he's not going to like it if you don't like it. Well, maybe not. What?
I feel bad because, I'm not sexually active with him because I believe, wait till marriage. So,
Maybe, please, don't let go of that thought. You're going to be a lot happier in the long run. I found a book. I'm sort of reading my brains out again. There's a book out there I'm going to I forget what it's called right now. I'm having it sent to me from Amazon.com, and it's about women and the things we talk about in the show about empowering women and how chastity and waiting and romance are things that give women control over their body once again, and how we need to support that more in our society. It's written by a woman from Williams College. In fact, if anybody knows about that book, please fax me tonight, 310-854-4455, and I will announce the name of it. I'm anxious to read that book. Maybe exactly how can I help you? I'm not quite clear what we're getting at here.
Well, I want to know if there's any method to swallow it, tug it, sip, I don't know.
Ann, please help me. I know this.
If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah, maybe just don't include that part in it, Let that all
There's no easy
flow
way.
out. A guy just, I think Adam is right on this one. A guy just concerns that his rhythm is not broken. He doesn't care what you do with that.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
He's going to be the lie. Listen, this guy obviously loves you. He's holding out for your values. He's a good guy. All right.
You can put things on it to make it taste better.
Oh.
If need be.
Chris, 21.
Yeah.
What's going on? God, I'm uncomfortable with this material. 15 years in this show, and I still can't talk about this stuff. Yeah, thank you, Chris.
All right. I got a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
One, my breasts are I would consider them abnormally large.
Are you overweight?
Slightly.
How much? How much do you weigh?
I weigh 300 pounds.
How tall are you?
6'3.5".
So you're certainly over your ideal body weight, and just being overweight can increase levels of circulating estrogen, and overweight people, often males particularly, do get breast enlargement. So that's one possible cause. Do you smoke pot?
Yes. Well, I used to.
Well, that's the other way you can do it.
Yeah, during the time when I gained 100 pounds my senior year in high school.
Yeah. And if I would think that usually the marijuana-induced breast enlargement is at a younger age than you. You're 21.
Right.
And usually it goes away as you age.
Okay.
As the testes turn on, start producing more testosterone. But it's possible that it at least could have contributed, and the higher levels of estrogen caused by your adipose tissue, your fat tissue, may be sustaining it. The deal here is you got to lose weight.
And I go to a chiropractor about once a month, and for my knees, I used to play football, and they get thrashed, and he tells me every time, it's becoming a habit almost, but
you got to lose weight.
Yeah,
you got to lose weight, and I'm a big believer in dietitians. I think a well-trained dietitian can set up a plan for you that is livable and comfortable and healthy, and check it out, okay?
Yeah. Right. Second one.
Yeah.
Will not wearing underwear affect you in any way? Is there problems? Have you heard anything about that?
What specifically are you worried about?
Well, I mean,
because I can't answer that.
Well, people say that it's unhygienic. It's not very hygienic.
Oh, to not wear underwear?
Yeah, I don't wear.
Yeah, I mean, as you get older, you have kind of a leaky pee-pee. That's sort of part of being an older male, and it's going to go right in your pants instead of your underwear. And
right.
Short of that, I mean, well, you're getting your pants. It's to protect your pants from your body. That's all, to keep your pants cleaner. But, hey, listen, the one advantage to underwear that I know of from a medical standpoint, and the particular of the support underwear, like the jockey underwear, is it actually improves the lymphatic drainage out of the testes. So if you have epididymitis, if you have prostatitis, that sort of thing, it's a good idea to wear those. Otherwise, I know of no significant advantage. Christina, what's going on? She's 21.
Hi. Dr. Drew. How are you?
I'm fine. What's going on?
Okay, recently in July, I've gotten a breast augmentation, and my left breast is totally natural. I mean, it feels great. I love it. The left one has gotten, I don't know if it's hardened, if that's the word for it, but you could feel like a lump in it. You could feel the actual bag that's in it.
Where was it put? How was it put in?
It's through the nipple.
So it's periareolar, above the muscle, right?
It was in the nipple.
So you can't. The scar is in the areola.
Yeah.
Areola, and then they didn't go under the muscle with it. They kept it above the muscle.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you're getting capsule, something like that around it.
And really, my question is, at the time, also, I was into a lot of speed at the time, and marijuana, and drinking, and I was just wondering, would that have anything to do with it after a week of recovery?
I don't believe so.
No.
I think you should be talking to your plastic surgeon about what they need. Sometimes they can break the scar up just manually, and sometimes they need to redo these things. And you know what I'm going to tell you about, right? Pot, speed, alcohol, that stuff doesn't go away by itself. Are you in recovery now?
I'm sorry?
Are you in recovery now?
Oh, no, I'm fine. I mean, oh, yeah, totally. I'm not on anything.
But are you in recovery?
No, I've just stayed away from all the people I've known.
Okay, it's going to resurface if you don't do something to change what's going on in your own head.
What, like recovery, like classes, or?
Yeah, like AA, NA, something like that. That sort of gives you a growth.
Because I've just completely moved in with my boyfriend. I've totally just lost touch with all the people.
I understand that you're abstinent right now, but it's just not the way this disorder works. I mean, there definitely are periods in one's life, if one is an addict or alcoholic, where you can control your use and your drinking, but it will always resurface and it will always progress if you have that biology, and it sounds like you do. The recovery process is about connecting with people who've had the same experience, that suffered the same losses and deals with the same biology, and it gives you a level of connection with those people that you really can't find elsewhere in life. And believe me, recovering people are very rich, emotional, interesting, intelligent people. And it's about developing emotionally in a connection with other people. It's interesting. Humans don't really develop emotionally. They don't grow emotionally unless they're in an intimate contact with another person. It is like a throwback to our infancy, where, as we all, I think, know, if you leave an infant unattended, it just doesn't develop, doesn't grow, it dies even potentially. And the brain pathways that are responsible to open up and allow emotional growth to occur, we believe really only occur in the context of an intimate relationship with another. And that's the basics of recovery, such as it is. So that's my diatribe about that. Gabe is 26. Gabe.
How you doing?
We're all right. I'm all right. I'm delightful without Adam. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope everybody else is. I'm having a great time. What's up?
I want some help.
Yeah.
I find myself attracted to younger women, girls.
You're 26.
Yeah.
21?
No.
18?
No.
Are you on a car phone?
Actually, I'm on a portable phone.
Okay. It's kind of breaking up on us here a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that.
All right. I'm working my way down the ladder here. 18,
12, 13,
12,
14.
13. Yeah. Where are you? Is that an airport? Is that like a factory or something?
No, I drive truck.
All right, Gabe. How long has this been going on for?
Since I was about 8.
And how do you express it now? What do you do with this attraction?
Up till now, really nothing. But lately, I've been getting pictures off the internet, and I don't know. I don't want it to progress any further.
All right.
I want it.
All right. Whoops. You want to do what?
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. You want to what?
I don't want it to progress any further. I want to get into some sort of help.
Okay. God bless you. All right. Gabe, you got to hang out 1 second. I have to go to a break here. It's LoveLine. The number again, 1-800-LOVE-191. Please go ahead and fax me. I will be delighted to read the faxes that are interesting. 310-854-4455. And again, I'm looking for the name of that book by the Williams College graduate about sort of an attack on feminism in the latter part of the 20th century and why chastity is good, really, is what it's arguing. And this is Dr. Drew. I'm by myself. Adam is out doing his thing in New York, going to be on the Letterman show, and I'm having the time of my life. I hope you all are, and I'm going to get through as many calls as I possibly can after we get back from this.
This is LoveLine. LoveLine will be right back. WEBN.
We're not keeping you up, are we?
I'm pitching a tent.
Oh, that's good. It's LoveLine.
WEBN.
Too often.
Hi, this is Tori Amos, and you're listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Yes, it is indeed LoveLine, and this is just Dr. Drew. Adam is away in New York doing the Letterman show, and we're having an evening of our own here on LoveLine without Adam, thank God. And I'm looking for the name of that darn book. I can't find it anywhere. I was logged on to Amazon.com, and I still couldn't come up with it, and I ran out of time, and I haven't read your faxes yet, but we're going to take a 10-second break. Be back right after this.
This is LoveLine on
Radio Station.
We're the G-spot on your radio dial.
Oh, yeah, right there.
LoveLine on 102.7.
Oh.
WEBN, Cincinnati.
All right, I'm sorting through faxes here. I'm sorry, guys. But I'm Dr. Drew. It is LoveLine. The number is 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. Anyone within the sound of my voice who can get me the name of that darn book by the Williams College graduate attacking, advocating a change in our values. And I think it's advocating a change that we would all agree, all of us LoveLine listeners, might be in a positive direction, just based on what you're hearing is happening to people, given the current orientation to one's sexuality at a young age. This is Gabe I was talking to. Gabe,
okay.
So you're attracted to 12-year-olds.
Yeah, I want to start off by saying your show's great. Been listening to it for 6 years now. It's given me the tools a lot of times that's saved me from just ending it. Anyhow,
you've been that depressed.
Oh yeah, it's
well, yeah,
severe.
All right, so you've got severe depression. You've got this focus on young people that sort of adds up to sexual abuse in childhood. Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
I've racked my brain for years. Especially listening to your show. I can't remember anything before the age of 5. I used to have nightmares when I was younger about a gorilla or an ape chasing me, and I was a bedwetter up until the age of about 10.
Say what again about a girl chasing you?
A gorilla.
Gorilla chasing you.
I used to have nightmares every night about an ape chasing me. And I don't know if that means anything.
What was your family life like?
It was all right. Dad's an alcoholic, but always provided for us. They're still married.
All right, but again, the emotional world you lived in was sort of chaotic and potentially abandoning anyway.
Yeah.
And God knows what you experienced at a young age that made you so fearful.
Well, I started smoking pot when I was 8 years old. I had an older brother that smoked it, and I smoked it pretty heavily up until a couple of years ago. I've always prided myself on being able to take care of things myself, but now I think I'm starting to realize
just biologically
I do need some help, and that I can't.
Have you got any kind of recovery going?
No, not yet. I made an appointment Friday to see a counselor. My wife's going to get some counseling too. I told her years ago about opposite attraction.
Okay, Gabe, complex situation here, clearly. Let me just, some basic principles is that are that smoking pot at a young age delays or stops development. Okay, it impairs the biological development. They've shown now that the brain doesn't grow normally, and certainly it avoids developing any alternative coping strategies other than just getting high when you have unpleasant feelings. So there's that going on. There's whatever was going on there with the alcoholic dad and the circumstances that were causing you to be a bedwetter, and you've got major depressive problems, and God knows the pot may be the whole reason you're that depressed. Suicidality in chronic marijuana use is extremely common, especially when you try to stop, interestingly. Okay, so you need to see a psychiatrist. I mean, you really do need some biological help. You need an evaluation. You clearly going to need some counseling. God bless you for not acting on these feelings and for understanding that they're wrong and for caring about your family and including them in this. I mean, there's a lot of real positives going on here, Gabe. You understand? You see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see myself as a monster when I feel like this. I don't want to be like this.
I know. You don't have to be. You don't look. All right. You don't have to be. There's a lot of help available to you. Just in the 2 minutes I talked to you, I can think of 3 or 4 things that need to be done immediately. For instance, get involved in some sort of recovery program that will be instrumental in your growth and development out of this. Clearly, you need some sort of biological help. And while I certainly don't want to be seen as a pill pusher, although Adam gives me grief about that. The pharmacology has become a cornerstone of treatment of depression and saves people's lives. I mean, there's 19 million people in this country with depression. Somewhere around, what was the number? I think 10%, if I remember right, will kill themselves from this disease. And this is a life-threatening condition sometimes. You have 2 major things going on here, and then some weird symptoms, we don't know where they're coming from, need to be dealt with dynamically with your wife. A great situation to get better. Please get the psychiatric care you need. Sarah's 23. What's up?
Hi. Ever since I was about 15, when I had my first sexual experience, I find myself, even just in casual dating situations, becoming extremely emotionally attached to these people.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to...
Do you even do that with friends?
Not really. Well, I don't really have many girlfriends. Most of my friends are male.
Interesting. What's that all about?
What?
What's that all about?
I don't know.
What do you think?
You're the doctor.
Well, you're the patient. You need to help me. You've got the information. I don't.
No, I don't.
Why do you need to be loved so much? Who will love you? Why? Why do you need that?
I don't know. I'm very afraid of being so dependent on these guys. But the more that I'm afraid of it, the more I am.
I'm sure. How about, are you sort of a perfectionist in your life? A hyperachiever, that kind of thing?
A little bit, not so much, so no.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a student.
Okay. But you fall in love with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has love been a part of your life at any other time?
Meaning what? Family situation?
Sure.
Well, my family has always been there. My parents are still married. Yeah, I'm very close with my family.
Has your dad really been there for you?
Yeah.
Because usually, there's all kinds of reasons that people can get into this situation, and I would recommend a book to you by a guy named James Masterson called The Search for the Real Self, okay? And do you idealize other people a lot?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, that's sort of the syndrome you're describing here. And that it often goes along with that as perfectionism and sort of parents that are not particularly empathic with your needs, though they may always be there for you. They are a little, I bet, exploitative. Is that true?
I'm a little bit what?
They're a little bit exploitative. Like you're more there for them than they are for you, even though they're close and very tight with you. Basically, you got to make sure their needs are all met all the time. No?
Yeah.
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 The fundamental question that people seem to, I don't know if it's consciously or otherwise, that I hear from young people is who will love me? How will I find somebody to love me? How can I make things good? How can I feel complete? And you're sort of going around and searching everywhere for that and placing all your stuff on whomever you happen to get even near and idealizing them and falling in love with them and making them fill that role. And it's not something easy to stop. I mean, it's really something that requires more genuine kinds of intimate connections. And if it doesn't stop, or if you make bad choices in who you actually do get intimate with,
which I do.
Yeah, that's the time that therapy really needs to step in. It's not likely to stop by itself, I suspect. You read that book and you see what you think, all right?
Okay.
Would you do that?
Yes.
And see if some of that doesn't ring true for you. And if it does, he suggests how you get over it, and it really is about therapy. Jason is 20. Jason, what's going on?
Hey, Dr. Drew, I just wanted to say that it is an honor to be able to
Wow,
speak to you.
Jason, it's an honor to speak to you.
You always talk of, in the rehabilitation centers, of the higher power.
Yeah.
That's you to me.
Oh, no. I don't want to be a higher power.
You're so consistent with your views, and you've really helped me along in my life. And
God bless you.
I couldn't thank you enough.
Well, Jason, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. I just got a fax here. The book I was trying to remember the name of is called A Return to Modesty, Discovering the Lost Virtue by a woman named Wendy Shallot. She's 23. It says, this fax says, let me read it, I haven't read it yet. Must read for all young women. Keep up the great work. Know that for every messed up caller, blah, 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 blah. Good work. Thanks for what you're trying to do. It's from Mike in Vancouver. Oh, and he sends a whole review of this book. I'm going to read this book, but it sounds great. And having gone to Amherst College, I love everybody at Williams, even though I hated them when I was at Amherst. And I'm sure this is something we should all read. Jason, what's the question?
Okay, this is a little embarrassing for me, but okay, when I'm by myself at nighttime, I have the paranoid fears of a child, of being chased by just figures in scary movies, and it's to the point now where I literally have to run because I cannot. And I wanted to know if you knew that it could be a result of childhood or just...
Well, it's something. I mean, are you smoking pot or doing anything else that might affect your biology?
No, not at all.
People need to understand that I'm an internist, and although I've run a department of medicine in a psychiatric hospital and I run addiction services, that I am not an expert in all the specifics of psychodynamics. And so to say to me, I'm having a fear of being chased while I'm drinking, that doesn't really mean that much to me. My understanding is more in broad strokes about the interpersonal experience and how people are kind of put together. So I'm afraid I don't have a specific answer for you. It means something. Okay. I sort of look at dreams as a visual expression of what you're feeling during the day, particularly feelings that are uncomfortable and you may not wish to deal with sort of consciously. But it's sort of when there's a background of these kinds of feelings, they come out in these sort of visual expressions during the night. So it means something. I mean, are you anxious and fearful during the day generally?
No, it's not it's when I'm outside by myself. For instance, if I take the garbage out at night, the fear, and my thoughts are so intrusive that I try to block it out.
All right, so there is something biological going on here. You get what's called agoraphobia, which is fear of open spaces. You have intrusive thoughts. Do you have any obsessions? Do you wash your hands?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so this is all sort of a more generalized syndrome of obsessive compulsive disorder. Do you tell us what kind of stuff you do? People should really be aware of what this syndrome is because it's so funny. I mean, not funny to you, but it's so interesting how people, you're going to work and you have to run back home to make sure you turn the lights off a certain way.
Oh, exactly.
Give me one of those stories.
Okay, for instance, now this is bizarre, so follow me here. Everything that I do is ritualistic. For instance, if I leave the house, I have to leave and I have to turn the doorknob with the same hand every day.
Yep.
Or my thoughts become so intrusive, I will come back home from wherever I'm at to leave with the right hand.
You never smoke pot?
No, I never smoked pot.
I asked that for a very interesting reason that I've dealt with a lot of marijuana addicts, obviously, and they tend to get this way, I think, by virtue of how the pot does them, because they don't seem to have started out that way. But, of course, you can just be this way. You can have an obsessive compulsive disorder, which it sounds like you do. And, it gets, the fear usually is that something horrible is going to happen to you if you don't maintain these rituals,
exactly.
right?
I think of, for instance, my baby sister.
Yeah.
If I don't do these ritualistic things, maybe she'll die. And all I would have had to do is, turn the door with the right hand, and I could have saved her life. And it's ridiculous.
Well, but it is as far as we understand this disorder, it is primarily biologically based. Now, certainly there are psychological issues, and talk therapy may be helpful, but there are profoundly effective medication for this sort of thing. And there's a lot of press about this a few years ago. It was sort of becoming the diagnosis du jour until ADD took over.
I have ADD.
Okay. Have you been treated for that?
No.
I happen to believe that ADD, I'm giving a lot of opinions tonight, but that ADD, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, so attention deficit disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and addiction are all genetically related. They're very similar syndromes in which people can't contain unpleasant impulses and thoughts.
Correlation between the
I think they relate to each other, but they are largely biologically based. And Jason, I would strongly urge you to see a psychiatrist about this, because I've seen some remarkable results with medications like Luvox and Paxil and the fearful Prozac. Everybody's anxious about Prozac because it got a lot of bad press. Make sure everyone knows, make note of this, that a good medication often gets too widely used, and when it gets too excessively applied, you tend up hearing more about the negative effects than you do about the positive, even though the bottom line is it may be a very good medication. Anthony's 25. Anthony, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Drew?
I'm all right. What's on?
Actually, I had got my ears pierced about a year and a half ago.
Uh-huh.
And I got an extremely large growth on the back of my ear.
Keloids?
I believe so.
Keloid scars. Are you black?
No.
People of dark skin are more likely to get these keloid formations.
Okay, my question is, I was thinking about getting surgery done on them, but my doctor referred me to an ENT.
Huh.
I don't know if he's going to do anything for me.
And not a plastic surgeon?
Right. Well, actually, I tried to get a referral to a plastic surgeon, and they said, see the ENT first.
This is the HMO, undoubtedly.
Right.
Well, the problem with surgery for keloids is that when you have the surgery, you form another keloid, right? Because every time you scar, particularly around the face, you keloid. Now, I don't know if they have any special techniques to try to reduce the potential of keloid formation in that area around your ear, but I would think an ENT would be inclined not to operate for concern that they might create more keloid, or at least just a recurrence of the same keloid.
I see.
They can inject steroids into these things sometimes. And again, there might be some other newer techniques that I'm not aware of. Certainly, you should have the consultation and press hard to get the plastic surgery consultation, because they will be more likely to have the information on what to do with this thing. But boy, people at keloid, that's a point well taken for you all that want to do a lot of piercing. If you form keloids, you're going to form a keloid when you get the pierce as well. Jane's 27.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, I think. How's it sound so far?
What's that?
How's the show going without Adam? You guys?
It's going good.
Am I keeping your interest enough?
Yeah, definitely.
I tend to ramble on.
The reason why I called in is because you're the only one there.
Well, thank you.
But I'm concerned about my sister.
Yeah.
I suspect that she has a drug problem. She's completely changed her life within the last 6 to 8 months in very negative ways. She lost her job, maxed out her credit cards, got her car repossessed, and just has completely changed in personality traits. And she used to be very caring, and she looks like she seems like she's completely lost all those, qualities about her. Betrayed all her friends. And
is there alcoholism in your family?
No, not really.
What do you mean, not really?
My father drank for a while back then, but it
did it have consequences?
Not anymore. I mean,
it's important that we establish whether there's a genetic potential here, because if there's
then there is that possibility.
All right, because if your dad, even though his alcoholism may be mild, if he has it, and he has two offspring, one of them is probably going to get the gene.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Then there is that possibility.
Okay. So we got the biological potential here.
Yeah. I mean, for a time being, he kind of drank for a while, but then he stopped. Yeah.
All right. So his alcoholism isn't running out of control, but the gene is there.
Right.
What's your ethnic background?
What do you mean?
What's his
white.
family of, well, but are they from Scottish, Irish, Central European?
Polish.
Polish, interesting. There's parts of Central Europe, Poland, that has a fair incidence of alcoholism.
Yeah. And so I have another sister and another brother.
And interestingly, my experience with the sort of the Central Europe, the Bohemian, Polish, that area, with the gene, it's pretty mild. People do tend to control that version of the genetics of alcoholism, in my experience of them.
Yeah.
So your dad sort of fits that profile. But if that person with that gene gets in touch with or comes in contact with a drug that is more addictive, then off it goes. So we're suspecting that maybe, based on what you're describing your sister, that there's some stimulant going on here, right?
Yes. It's just, my family, we don't know for sure whether if it's drugs or whether if it's just her being really, really stupid and
No, Jane, if you suspect drugs, it's drugs. If you got the gene there, it's drugs.
Yeah, and so I've looked into Al-Anon and those types of things. I have yet to go to a meeting, but I am doing research with those things.
Great.
Only I've heard about home drug tests that you can administer to people. And she's actually, my mom's talked to her, and she's agreed to do this.
Good.
Personally, I suspect that it was just a way of saying, yeah, I'll do it, thinking that my mom won't be able to actually, get her to perform one of these drugs.
You'll know when the time comes to actually get the urine, and I tell you, it's got to be observed. Somebody has to watch her urinate into the cup, because people who are addicts and don't want to be caught will go to extraordinary lengths. I've seen people take IV bags and run tubes down under their skin with other people's urine in them to not be caught.
How can I go about obtaining one of these tests?
I don't know if they're widely available yet. I heard that they were going to be available in Florida. I am a big believer in this. I know it sounds intrusive, and there certainly are rights issues in regard to this, but I'll tell you what, we have one and only one test that objectivies the presence of addiction, and that is drug screening. That's all we have to go on.
Drug screening?
Testing the urine or testing the blood. We have no other way, no other test that will medically give us the information to tell whether we are dealing with drugs or not.
Right.
And so when you're trying to really help somebody and save them from a potentially life-threatening condition, I'm sorry, I think you have to apply that test. And it's for their own good, and I understand everybody in this country has the right to go kill themselves with drugs.
Right.
But I think you got to test them.
I've also heard of the hair follicle test.
Yeah.
But
that's
you actually test for like cocaine or
again, I've tried to figure out the hair testing. I cannot figure it out. So I rely on urine. I really do. I would not base solely on a hair test. You want the urine test. But let me give you some hints as to what goes on with stimulant addicts, okay? You there, Jane?
Yes.
Okay. A speed addict will become paranoid and preoccupied with people close to them.
Okay.
Family, friends, coworkers, students at school. They will become very paranoid and very withdrawn, and the relationships will be terribly disrupted by this irritability and paranoia.
Yeah.
Cocaine addicts, on the contrary, will disappear for days at a time and become completely preoccupied with uniformed officers. It's very strange. Both are paranoid, and both are completely different focuses from the paranoia. The paranoia from cocaine will resolve in about 12 hours, and with speed, may go on for 6 months after they stop using.
Yeah, because she does do that. She disappears for days at a time.
Well, something is up. I guarantee it. I think you're doing all the right things. Go to Al-Anon, test her, do an intervention if you have to, and get her into some kind of treatment. And this is a life-threatening condition. I'm Dr. Drew. It is LoveLine. The number is 1-800-LOVE-191. I'm having a good time. I hope I'm keeping the interest of those of you who are listening, and I would like to have as many callers as it can possibly get through tonight. It's LoveLine, and we'll be back.
Oh, yeah. What an app. LoveLine will be right back.
Oh, yeah, right there. It's LoveLine on WEBA.
Hey, this is Fatboy Slim. You're listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Well, you're listening to Dr. Drew anyway. Adam Carolla is away in New York. It's LoveLine. The number's 1-800-LOVE-191. It's me and just me. And tomorrow night I'll be in here with Diane Farr. You'll know her from LoveLine, the MTV TV show. I love Diane. She's the greatest, and we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow night. Then Tuesday, we've got Joe Rogan. Is that still on the books here? And Adam, I believe, will be back on Tuesday. Damn. Let's Unless you all write in and ask the show just to go on with Adam, that'd be just fine with me. But be that as it may, I've been reading a lot of reviews off Amazon.com here on A Return to Modesty by Wendy Shallett. I'm going to try to get her on the show. She really sounds like an interesting person, and I really believe in some of the things she's advocating. She makes an intellectual argument for it. Also, somebody sent me an article from a Cincinnati paper on how the morning after pill is catching on. I think that's... Boy, it says it's for emergency use only, but if it's an alternative, it's something happened. If a contraceptive method failed or in a rape cases, it's 75% effective in preventing pregnancy. Absolutely. Morning after pill, ladies and gentlemen, please remember within 72 hours of an unprotected sexual encounter, this can prevent the pregnancy. Now, was I talking to somebody? No, I think I finished everybody before we went to break. So this is now Sheila, who's 35. Sheila, what's going on?
Hi, I have a problem with, I think it's genetic with, like, nymphomania, sexual addiction. And it's something, like, I've really made an effort to control because I recognized when I was young that I had some kind of problem.
Well, basically, I mean, in broadest of strokes, sexual compulsion, sexual addiction falls into three big categories for me. One is in the setting of bipolar illness. When people are hypomanic and manic, they become sexually compulsive. Number two is in the setting of sexual abuse in childhood, where people become sexualized at a young age. And that sexualization may mean seeing your parents having sex. It may be being exposed to pornographic material at a young age. And by a young age, I mean before the age of 8 for that part, for actual sexual encounter before the age of 12. And the third category would be true sexual addiction, which is merely the setting of addiction, where people replace the activation of the reward system with sex as opposed to some other drug.
I have a hormone imbalance that's, like, proven medically. It's an endocrine problem, and it might be related to that. I have, like, too much testosterone. And they don't know exactly what causes it. They thought I had a certain type of problem for a while, and then later they decided that I didn't, and now they think it's my hypothalamus because they don't know enough about it. But
were you sexually abused?
Not to the point where I ever was, like, actually...
Sheila, come on.
Like, somebody tried to fondle me, and I got away from him.
How old were you then?
I was 9, and somebody tried to fondle me when I was 7, and I got away from him.
Who was that somebody?
One was like a relative of my mother's, and one was kind of a friend of my mother's.
And how old were you when you first had sex?
19.
19. Nothing before that?
Intimacy, yes, but not sex.
What does intimacy mean? What does that mean?
Let's see. I guess the first time I ever took off my clothes with somebody, I was 17.
Okay. Suspicious. And was there a mental illness in your family at all?
Not biologically. I've got, like, my family is real complicated in terms of, like, different marriages and different, coupling.
A lot of chaos.
Yes.
I think, have you ever been seen by a psychiatrist?
I've been tested by psychologists for being, like, in academic programs.
All right, Sheila, get some general psychiatric care. I mean, people in our culture are looking for magic bullet answers to very complex behavioral situations. It's got to be my testosterone. I mean, look, I treat people with testosterone all the time. It doesn't magically make them take off into very bizarre directions with their behavior and their sexual acting out. Certainly can make somebody hypersexual and sexually preoccupied, but it won't create total chaos in their interpersonal lives. It just won't. There's got to be other things going on. Now, in people where there are other things going on, you add a biology that's powerful, yeah, it can get much worse. And it's not wrong for you to have a biological evaluation. Certainly that should be thoroughly and completely checked out, but not to replace the psychiatric and psychological care. Doesn't make sense. Let's see, we've got Sarah on the line. She's 22.
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hey.
I'm loving the show so far.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see. A few weeks ago, you and Adam were discussing breastfeeding and different things it transmits. And he brought up HIV virus, and you said that they used to think it could be transmitted, but it's not looking like it is anymore.
I'm not sure what the prevailing wisdom is on that. I know that for perinatal transmission of HIV, that was one of the concerns. And what I know is that has been shown to be not to be the issue, the breast milk in the perinatal transmission. But I don't know that it can't be transmitted that way. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot of research on it lately, and it's everything from 30% transmission rate to 0%.
Yeah, see, it's still very controversial.
Yeah, and I mean, some of it, it's kind of, the research is looking for antibodies and not the virus, and then some of it, they're hailing Duisburg in the next paragraph, and so I'm like, I don't know if I want to.
Why are you looking for this? What's going on?
Well, actually, I'm a student midwife, and I'm, we're big fans of breastfeeding in our field.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and
I by the way, I take a very simplistic approach to a breastfeeding female. She gets no medication. She takes a good diet, and that's it. That's all I want to know. Just nothing, pristine. And anything that disrupts that, I get very nervous.
Yeah. And I'm hoping eventually to go on back to East Africa in the mission field and work with women. And so I'm trying to find some answers where, I mean, there's no other method where they can feed children there. So it's not a matter of like, no, you can't do it. But I'd like to have some, just find some.
Sarah, where did you get that calling? My God. That's incredible.
I've been there a few times, and I've lived there and studied there. And
what was it like?
It was wonderful. I really love the people there, and I don't know. I've always wanted to just go back and work with the women, and
wow. They certainly need you. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think you're going to end up drawing your own conclusions and giving advice based on the information you collect.
Yeah.
I stay away from it because I can't draw a conclusion myself. But you're going to have to figure something out. Call the CDC. I'm sure, or even the World Health Organization. I'm sure they have guidelines and recommendations. And if you would be kind enough, if you could fax me or write me or tell me what you find out, I'd be greatly appreciative. Okay.
World Health Organization, they approve of it, but UNICEF's been sort of sliding back and forth, which is really unfortunate for the third world because, I mean, they can't exactly go to formula feeding with the water conditions and stuff. So,
oh my God,
it's extremely controversial, and I don't know.
Oh my gosh,
issue of it with even amongst midwives and stuff. But and also I was going to tell you about my dad is a pharmacist up here in Washington State. And,
yes.
And I was talking with him about the morning after pill. I mean, I personally have no use for it, but as far as like stuff he's found, he said that as far as pharmacies go up here in Washington, you have to fill out a little bit of paperwork
to get it.
Well, not to get it, but to be able to give it out without a prescription.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
so they take on some liability, huh?
Yeah, a little bit, but not. He says it's not hard to do. He personally hasn't filled it out for his pharmacy because his median age is about 65 for his customers.
Right.
But he says like he'll sometimes work for Rite Aid, and he says they haven't done it. They haven't bothered to do it. So I think as far as the 1-800 number goes.
Yeah, it's 1-800 not too late. That's the number you can call to find out where a pharmacy near you or a doctor near you will get you that morning after.
Yeah, and I think part of that is because...
Excuse me, I beg your pardon. It's 1-888 not too late. I beg your pardon. Yeah, go ahead.
But part of that is just because not every pharmacy will
do it.
Carry it. So
correct me if I'm wrong,
they all carry it, but
honest to God, how we can support abortion and not support availability of this pill, I can't understand it.
Exactly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm determined to take a strong position on this and find a way to distribute it. Whether I have to have a post office box in Washington State or whatever, I'm staking my reputation on this.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a great idea, and I mean maybe people as far as the Rite Aids, I know I haven't heard that they do carry it. So maybe people can write and say, we want non-prescription.
Well, and Sarah, I appreciate your comments, and whatever state you're in. I don't know, you write your state senate, your state assembly, whatever it is, we got to find a way to make this more available for people. It is just ridiculous that this isn't something on the nightstand of every young person in this country. And not that they should be having sex, but God knows they are. And for those that are choosing to do this, we need to protect them. Aaron is 17. What's going on?
Yeah, I've been with my boyfriend for about 2 months. He's the first guy I've been sexually active with. And I kind of feel like I'm kind of playing the part of the guy there because he really wants to be with me a lot. Like every spare moment, it's like, oh, Aaron, let's go do this, or oh, I have to see you, kind of thing. And
how long has this been going on for?
I've only been with him for 2 months, which is why I find this so weird.
Is this his first girlfriend?
No.
Did he do this with his last girlfriend?
Well, I know all his past girlfriends. I guess he really wants to be very close.
Yeah, and look, some guys do this, particularly around this age. This is how they begin their interpersonal lives, is by enmeshing and smothering and overcommitting and fantasizing and over-idealizing, and it's a big mess for you if you're the focus of it. I'll be honest, that's the way I was when I was 17. And I feel very sorry for anybody that was under the waterfall of emotion that I poured over. And, if you're not into this, and you don't really like him or the relationship the way it's going, you can try to set some limits with him and establish a relationship where there's greater independence and mutuality, or you won't be doing him such a bad service in the long run if you break it up and let him know that this isn't the way a relationship works. It's up to you. I mean, you've got to decide what you can do with this relationship, but if you're not happy in it...
Well, I mean, I really like him a lot. It's just that I need some breathing room.
Well, try to establish that, but he's going to freak. He's going to have all kinds of fantasies about what you're doing, and he's going to lose you, and maybe he'll get through this. Maybe he'll learn to create some separate sense of himself in this relationship. Believe me, you are in the right here. Try not to hurt him, and if you get so frustrated that you start doing stuff that is potentially hurtful, will you make me a promise?
Yeah.
You break it up at that point?
Right, before I go and cheat on him and then really kind of kill him, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you get so frustrated and angry with him that you start just doing things that you know are going to be hurtful, before you do that, just have the courtesy to break it off, all right?
Okay.
All right, thanks. Okay, it's LoveLine. It's Dr. Drew. Adam is in New York. I hope you all are enjoying this as much as I am. The number is 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. I'm sorry I'm not getting to all of your faxes. In fact, I'm not even able to read all of them. I'm trying as best I can. The name of the book I was talking about was A Return to Modesty by Wendy Shallett. I've been enjoying reading the reviews on the internet about that. I'm going to read this book, and I want to try to get her on this show. Very interesting ideas that I've been advocating just by virtue of what I've learned from talking to young people on this show. It just seems, I'm just advocating things that seem to make sense based on what I'm hearing. And I have no agenda. It's not as though I'm advocating this because I think it's a good idea. I'm just interested in people living happier and healthier lives and not being so goddamn miserable. Anyway, Adam is in New York. He's going to be on the Letterman Show tomorrow night. And tomorrow night I'll be in here with Diane Farr. And for the moment, we'll go to break, and I'll be back with more calls after this.
All right. The phone number for LoveLine is 1-800-LOVE-191. LoveLine, I'll be right back. WEBN.
Suck on this. LoveLine.
All of my most sensitive areas were inflamed.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
WEBN.
What's cracking, y'all? This Dub C for the Westside Connect Gang. Y'all know this still Westside on mine, chilling on the Love Line. Y'all know what time it is. Dub C, the shadiest one. Packing that pistola, chilling with my homeboy Ace Rockola. Fool, I thought you knew. Chilling with my homeboy Dr. Drew, the shadiest one. Listen to this. Turn it up, turn it up. That's Rihanna.
Wow. I wish I understood him. I'm so out of it. All right, this is Dr. Drew. It is LoveLine. The number is 1-800-LOVE-191, but don't bother because we're just about done taking calls for the night. But we will speak to those that we have on hold on the air as best I can. I'm having a great time without Adam, who is in New York. He's going to be doing Letterman tomorrow night. As I said a few minutes ago, I'm going to be in here with Diane Farr. She is our co-host from the MTV version of LoveLine, and she is good. So we'll have fun tomorrow night, too. Lane is 19. Lane, what's up?
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hey.
First, I'd like to say I'm a really big fan.
Oh, thanks.
I listen to you every night.
Great.
My question is, I was really considering within the past 2 years of having a sex change.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been going to counseling for about 6 months, and I just recently had enough gall to bring it up to my therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically didn't want to deal with me anymore.
What do you mean?
She requested that I go to someone else.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you were insistent upon having the operation, or?
Well, I'm not really. I'm not really sure that's what I want to do. And what I kind of want to start doing is the hormone therapy.
Did she say, if you are going to pursue this, you need to go to someone else? Or did she say, stop right there, we have to get you another therapist?
Well, she didn't say anything to me. See, I'm kind of going through my dad's insurance.
Yeah.
Again, and I was dealing with depression and everything, too.
Of course.
But she requested to the insurance company that I go somewhere else. And so they requested that I go somewhere else. To me.
Yeah, well, who knows where that came from. You got to go get some closure with her. You've got to sit down and talk to her about this, because people that you developed a connection with who then dismiss you has a powerful impact on you.
Yeah, it does.
And that can't happen without the therapist doing it properly, and I'm not even clear that it should happen under these circumstances. So, unfortunately, in addition to taking a stand on the morning after pill, I would love to take a stand on the way managed care companies of any type deal with mental health. It is just abominable.
Well, my question was if I start on the hormone therapy for estrogen, I was just wondering what some of the side effects would be since I'm a male.
Yeah, well, certainly many men have done this, and I'm not up on this literature. The concern always is liver dysfunction and liver tumors, which were something that we saw in the days of high-dose estrogen birth control pills. Beyond that, other than sort of maybe some mood disturbances and weight gain, I'm not sure what the other concerns there would be particularly.
But no really concerns?
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, most things are better with estrogen. I mean, certainly if you're a female, absolutely you do better with estrogen. That's basically why we advocate postmenopausal estrogen replacement therapy, albeit there is some question about the breast cancer risk and whatnot. Clearly women have less vascular disease, they have less heart disease, they have less strokes, they have less dementia, they have less bone demineralization. I mean, if you're a woman, you're a lot better off with estrogen. With men, it's mostly a concern, I would think, of liver function. Beyond that, I'm not sure of there being any other significant issues. Obviously, it's not the way your body was designed to be sort of managed. And I always, Lane, I worry about messing with Mother Nature, I tell you.
Yeah.
You're only asking for trouble when you start taking a healthy person and pouring things into them that weren't designed to be there.
I don't know. Mentally, I feel like it would help me.
Well, I understand that you have a mental condition that may warrant taking risk.
Yeah.
And that is going to be between you and the professionals that take care of you.
Yeah.
The issue at hand, though, is what to do with the present therapist, who is somebody it sounds like you were connected with. You need to go back to her and figure out what is going on here. I would urge you to get a couple years of good therapeutic work under your belt before you make some huge decision, like considering a sex change operation. Understand that most likely this is a symptom of something else. I mean, you are, after all, seeing a therapist because of depression, and you know there's something going on. Don't look for quick fixes for some heavy emotional issues. Lynn is 31. Lynn.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Actually, you just talked with a young lady who has a 17-year-old boyfriend who's, like, really obsessive and smothering.
Well, smothering, yeah.
Yeah, I had one of these.
Most women get the opportunity to go through that, particularly when they're under 18.
Yeah, I was 17 as well. He was 19. Totally controlling. Absolutely.
Well, controlling is different than smothering, right? Controlling can be a very aggressive...
It was like controlling, because I couldn't see my friends because every moment he wanted to be with me. And it's like, no, I need a break from you.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And so the point got to it where I said, we're done. It's finished.
Good.
And it was left on an ugly note.
Fine. Well, not fine, but okay.
Well, and, you told this young woman that, probably be doing him a service, right?
Potentially. I was not thinking... Controlling has a different connotation to it, I got to tell you. Controlling can be a very aggressive... addicts are often controlling. People from addict families are often controlling. It's different than smothering. Somebody who is just pouring all their emotional material onto that person and making them responsible for their own emotional well-being. That's different. She didn't really describe that. The one you're describing, I would expect not to learn his lesson from somebody leaving him.
Didn't.
I would
absolutely
yeah.
did not.
Yeah, I would expect him to keep going. Is he an alcoholic now? That's the other thing.
No, he's a major pothead.
All right, he's a marijuana addict. But understand that's a difference. This is the setting of addiction, and that is controlling, and that is a different thing than what I was talking about. It's a subtly different thing, but it is different than what I was talking to the young lady about earlier. This is James, who's 17. I'm gonna try to push through some calls here. James, what's up?
Hey, Dr. Drew, I think you're leading the wave of the future as far as politics go.
Wow.
And I'm sorry Adam's not here. I'd like to talk to him too.
Oh, is he leading the way too? That is scary.
He's more of your sidekick, and I wouldn't say that.
It's hard to hear you over the sound of my own ass.
It's hard to hear me over that. I'll tell you when he's here. But what's going on?
I am part of the Junior State of America, and we had a conference this weekend in Sacramento.
Wow.
We did mock legislature, and one of the things that we brought up was availability of contraceptives in schools. It passed with unanimity.
Oh, I bet.
It was vastly, vastly popular. And you mention this every time you talk to somebody who's in need of birth control. And this is the kind of thing that people who are leading youth politics are talking about. And we really agree with you, especially on the availability of the morning after pill and the availability of condoms, and this actually did pass unanimously in a Senate committee. So,
would you be kind enough to send me some information on your organization?
Absolutely.
Are you in Los Angeles?
I'm in San Francisco.
It's KROQ Infinity. What's the phone number? It's PO Box. Help me.
PO Box 4345. Hollywood, California 90078.
Can I get that off the air? Because I don't.
Okay, you hold on. We'll get you off the air. But send me info on what's going on. Because I'm telling you what, I am really on the verge of taking a very aggressive stand about this and finding a way to help people distribute it.
Well, we're serious too, and we talk about a lot of issues, and we're on your side on a lot of these things.
All right. Well, James, I'm going to put you on hold because I'm running out of time. I'm going to talk to you off the air. Okay?
Thank you.
Hold on here. Okay. Go to Shaylin. What's going on, Shaylin? You're 14.
Yeah, I'm recently in a new relationship with this boy, and he just told me that he had feelings for this other girl, so I tried to...
He had what? He had what?
He had feelings for this other girl.
He had what? He slept with?
No.
He had what?
He had feelings for this
Feelings for this other girl. I'm sorry, Shaylin. I'm sorry.
And, so I tried to be nice about it, whatever.
Yeah.
We young and we have a long time to go, so I just told him, well, if he had such good feelings about her and he liked her better than me, then why didn't he just go with her?
Good for you.
Leave me alone.
Good for you.
And if it didn't work out, I'll still be here, but I didn't guarantee him that I'll be by myself because I'm not going to wait on him, but at least we could still be friends. And he got angry about that. I just wanted to know, what did I do wrong?
I mean, why did he like her better? I'm having trouble following you, I got to tell you, but maybe it's just because it's late. You did everything right, okay? You stood up for yourself. You asserted yourself. He's not available in the way you need him. God bless you. You did exactly what you should do, okay?
Okay.
You do that again if a boy doesn't treat you right. This is probably our last caller, Danielle, 17.
Hi.
Hi. Just got to you in time.
Yeah.
What's up?
Okay, I'm 17.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm pregnant. I'm 3.5 months pregnant.
Oy.
Well, the guy that I'm pregnant by, he's 27. And I just found out that him and my best friend have been sleeping together while we were together.
Scum. They're both scum.
Yeah. And now she's pregnant, too.
Oh.
And I'm going to be 18 in April.
I wish... All right. What? What can I do for you?
Well, I'm going to be 18 in April, and do they still let you press charges? Because everybody now in my hometown is telling me that I should press charges.
Absolutely. Why not?
But do they let you even if you're 18 when you have the kid?
No, he obviously slept with you. He has to be within 3 years of... Are you in California?
No.
What state are you in?
St. Helens.
What state is that?
Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah.
What's the age of consent in Oregon?
Huh?
What's the age of consent in Oregon?
16, I believe, but it's 18 unless there's 3 years difference.
Right, same as California. So he's out of range.
Uh-huh.
Look, you make up your own mind on this. The most important thing, first of all, I would wish you'd give this child up for adoption. Not because I don't trust you as a person or as a parent, but 18, I certainly couldn't have done it at 18. I couldn't have done it at 25 or 30.
Well, my family's really supportive.
Well, just keep that option in mind because there's tons of parents out there that really could raise the child well, and somebody that really wants to raise a child. I mean, just to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But in terms of these guys that do this stuff, I think whatever consequences you can possibly bring to bear need to be brought to bear because they're not going to stop. Society's not doing anything with these a-holes. I mean, it's got to stop.
Yeah. Well,
And you'll be part of the solution rather than the problem. I mean, or than just the problem, which is what you're stuck in right now.
But it's his kid too, and I don't want to
Danielle,
do it and then
I don't
have the kid be mad at me later in life and I don't know him or.
Is he going to be a father?
I don't know. He hasn't so far. He doesn't even talk to me.
I can't imagine he's going to be a father.
We haven't talked in about a month and a half.
Danielle,
we talked just yesterday and today.
Did he want to be a father?
It's all been fighting. He says that he doesn't want the baby, but he doesn't want me to give up visitation either.
All right. Major asshole. Major asshole. If you can force this guy not to be a deadbeat dad, I certainly understand the dilemma you're in, but I would wish, on behalf of the other victims in the world, that you create whatever consequences are possible and bring them to bear. I don't know the answer to this. I mean, you sound like you're thinking it out properly. Stay tight with your family and your friends and make this decision for yourself. But I would wish that people that victimize others and that break the law suffer the consequences wherever they exist in society. Oval Office, Danielle's boyfriend, whatever it may be. Sorry, it's my opinion. Back after this.
Loveline is coming back. Call 1-800-LOVE-191. Operators are standing by. Loveline will be back in a minute. WEBN.
It's not hard to swallow. We've got a frog in our throat.
Lick it up.
It's Loveline.
WEBN.
Hey, it is Loveline, and I am about done. This is Dr. Drew. I've been here without Adam. Adam will be back on Tuesday night. I'll be here tomorrow night with Diane Farr, our lovely co-host from the MTV TV version of Loveline. It has been a pleasure serving you tonight. And this is Dr. Drew signing off with an homage to my illustrious partner, Adam Carolla, and saying thanks to Mike and Ann and Sherry for helping me do the show tonight. Dr. Drew saying mahalo.
This has been Loveline. The views expressed on Loveline are not necessarily those of the staff, the management, or the sponsors of this radio station. And are probably not the views of Westwood One Entertainment. Loveline is produced by Ann Wilkins Ingle. Now, please listen to this station longer.